Our focus today will be on Andoni Iraola of Bournemouth style of play. And when it comes to his style of play, what are his philosophies? His team tends to press high, run into space, or pass into space, thereby creating chaos offensively, as well as dragging teams to their own level and bringing them to positions they are not comfortable with. His team tends to be expressive, which according to Andoni Iraola, he called it organized chaos. They tend to be less possession based in the sense that they tend to make use of the long balls, and they're a second ball team, but without the height. But instead, they tend to win scraps and lose balls. So when it comes to Andoni Iraola's team, you have to understand they're a team that plays or make use of the 4-1-2-3. They're a team that tends to make use of the 4-2-3-1 formation. And usually their general shape tends to look like a 4-1-2, 4-1-2-3. Something like this. Something like this. And he pushes up here. Something like this. With Kekes as well, helping in this format. And doing build up, they tend to look like something like this. Something like this. So you basically have your 3-1-6 kind of 3-1-6. So doing attacking period, you tend to see them that way. And one of the things you have to understand is that one of their fullbacks is always pushing forward, which is the left hand side, which is the current Liverpool fullback, which is Kekes. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't reorganize it. Okay. So you have Kekes as your left back, who is usually known for pushing forward or supporting or creating that double width in the flank area, and most of their play usually focuses on the left hand side of the pitch. And his style of play is deeper midfielders tends to make majority of the tackles. They press with traps by forming a compact narrow shape to force opposition wide. So definitely they tend to push the oppositions to the flank area in order to get that, in order to outnumber them numerically. And his team tends to make use of intense pressing. Once wide, they go man to man. They make use of a man to man tackle or press, and it is usually the central midfielders who tends to push wide, not the fullbacks, because most of the times you see Cook or Christie in this area, because most of their play focuses on the width area or the wide areas. So and frequently they tend to try to exploit the pass into space options, thereby creating chaos for themselves and the opposition team. And one of the things you have to understand is that they're a long ball team, in the sense that they don't really focus on the shots or possession style of football. And they tend to play vertically and direct. They make use of the double width, which is this area. And the number 8 tends to push higher, helping out in the box which is this. Okay. Okay. So before we go in, mentality, during the test run, I had to use balance, but I believe you can go with the positive. It still work depending on your the personnel that you have, or attacking depending on the type of personnel you have. That's if you're in a stronger team or a weaker side or an average team. But for this, I decided to go with the balanced mentality due to Bournemouth not really having that kind of manpower like the rest of the EPL team. Okay, for in possession, I decided to go with attacking with fairly narrow because the team tends to be compact and approach play. Like I said earlier, his team tends to pass into space. It doesn't matter if their player is ahead or behind. They just tend to focus on direct play, pass into space, long balls. So we decided to go with the pass into space option. And it seems that they tend to be aggressive as well. Pass into space option, overlap on the left because most of their play usually focuses on the left hand side. Focus play down the left. Passing directness, you can make it so standard and can go decide to go slightly more direct. Or I decide to go with the standard in order to mix it up. And tempo, you can decide to go with slightly. We decide to go with slightly higher tempo. But depending on the strength of your team, you can decide to go with higher tempo in order to create that chaos that you want, or Bournemouth team tends to create. So, but I decided to go with slightly higher. Final third, we decided to go with the low crosses due to our height, or Bournemouth team not having that height advantage. So we decided to go with low crosses, with its early crosses and shoot on sight because his team tends to take a high volume of shots on the opposition. So we decided to go with a shoot on sight. And I decided to go. I initially wanted to go with the run and defense, but it's left to you. But he allows his team to be expressive. So I decided to go with be more expressive. The more expressive option will allow more creative players the freedom to play the game with additional vision and flair outside of the confine of a team's tactical setup, including the freedom to roam from their positions. So that's just it. Time wasting depends on you. In transition, we decided to go with the counter press because his team is make use of the high intensity pressing game. So or style. So we decided to when the position has been won, we decided with the counter attacking. Because with the counter attacking and passing to space, you create that chaos that Andoni Iraola's team tends to do. Goalkeeper distribution, there was no need for that. We leave it to our goalkeeper and team. Okay, distribution type. You can decide to go out, you can decide to go for the long ball. But due to the fact that we are trying to implement a style of play, I decided to go with the long ball pattern. For out of possession, I decided to go with the higher defensive line and high press because his team tends to press high. And for trigger press, yeah, we go with the trigger more often. And his team doesn't tend to press the opposition goalkeeper, so there's no need for the press because they actually want to outnumber the opposition in the central areas and maintain that man-to-man mark or press. Okay. For defensive line, step up more. Pressing trap, like I said earlier, his team tends to push the opposition down the flank so as not to outnumber them there. To decide to go with the trap outside. Cross engagements, that's left to you. And okay, that's that for our out of possession. So we'll be going next, is the player rules. So for player rules, we decided to go for sweeper keeper on support duty, player instruction, take more risks, which is long passes. And for your central group defenders, we decided to go for, which is Oisin. We decided to go for ball playing defender because he's good with his feet on defend duty, take more risks, hold position. Why for this right hand central midfielder? Defender, we decided to go for centre back or central defender on defend duty with shoot less often, dribble less, hold position. For your right hand defender, we decided to go for fullback on support duty with sit narrower. You sit narrower, it's to maintain that defensive solidity, especially when Kokes, which is the left hand the left back actually pushes forward. So in order to maintain that defensive solidity at the back. Also fullback on attack, on support duty with sit narrower. Okay. So most times, depending on the situation or the area of the ball, he might tend to support in this area or act as an inverted fullback. So for your left back, we went for the fullback on attack duty with player instruction, cross more often, get further forward. Yeah, I think for this, we need the cross more often instruction. Yes, let's cross more often. Yeah, cross more often. Yeah. So that's that. So your left back, like I say, on attack duty, cross more often, get further forward. But for your ball playing, for your central midfielders, at the right hand side, we said on that which is the Cook or Tyler Adams role, going for the support duty. On the support duty, ball winning midfielder on support duty, the tackle harder. And for your left central midfielder, went for the volante role, with moving to channels and mark tighter. Okay, let's get the volante is different from a deep lane midfielder because initially I wanted to go for the deep lane midfielder, or most times the deep lane midfielder is usually on old position, so I wanted something more aggressive. So they say this is primarily a defensive one suited to being paired with an anchor and is different from the ball winning midfielder. In that way, they often run with the ball or arrive with a late run into the opposition area in much the same sense as a box-to-box central midfielder does. So they say with the support duty, he will look to support attack while picking and choosing his opportunity to arrive late in the opposition area. So we can decide to go, and most times, and due to Bournemouth tending to play vertical and direct balls, I decided to go with the move play instruction for the volante, move into channels. This move into channels asks players, particularly attack-minded players, to find vertical spaces between the central defenders and fullback in such manners that a teammate can find them with a pass, which in turn tends to draw defenders out of position. So basically, you're just telling him to attack the half spaces. That's just it. Okay, so for your attacking midfielder, we decided to go for, which is a covert role. We decided to go for the advanced playmaker. I think it actually worked with this support striker, but I decided to go for the advanced playmaker because I think why I say support striker is because I think this past season he actually had 12 goals and 6 assists, something like that. So, but most of it was actually from penalties, I think. For a quarter of it. So advanced playmaker on attack duty with get further forward, run from position, tackle harder, mark tighter. Yeah, I think all Bournemouth players actually makes use of. You have to make use of the mark tighter as well. But I think for your fullback, the reason why I didn't use any of the fullback or central defenders is because I didn't want them to pick unnecessary card due to the team being already aggressive on its own. But yeah, due to the team being already aggressive on its own. And due to them being a smaller team, I believe we'll be we'll be we'll have we'll have more attacks on our in our own half than compared to if we're using a bigger team. Okay, for your fullback, for your wingers, we decided to go for the inverted wingers on attack duty for both sides, with stay wider, take tackle harder, mark tighter, dribble more, cut inside with the ball, get further forward for both sides, which is on the right and the left hand side. Then for your attack, which is the went for the advanced forward on attack duty with play instruction, dribble more, tackle harder, knock tighter, move into channels. So that's that for your player roles with clear instruction. But you can decide to go for mentality, positive, like I said, depending on your team. Okay, so that's that. So next we'll be going to the results aspect. So I actually skipped the preseason. I went on holiday mode and to fasten it up and tested it actually in the main league games, played 4 games. Yeah, drew 2, 1-1 and lost against Man United, which was expected. So it's not much of a big deal. So again, the first game, had a 1-1 draw. Player stats, actually, we had it was similar, but Crystal Palace had more shots, but it was actually wayward. But we had more shot on target than Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace had most of the possession. Like I said, the team is not actually a possession playing team. So yeah, so that's that. Second game, we actually dominated 5 goals. We had 24 shots, 9 shots on target, 2.1 xg, 7 corners, 49 ball possession. You can see we actually lost the game, but we won the game, but we had less possession. Okay. Yeah, against Aston Villa, this was the one that actually had my head out because we actually dominated 55 ball possession to Aston Villa for 45. We had 22 shots on target to Aston Villa 6. We had 8 shots on target to Aston Villa 4. XG 2.30 to Aston Villa 0.76. So you can see we actually dominated Aston Villa. So personally, to me, I would just say with all the stats, you can see that it's actually a personnel problem and not a tactics problem. The tactics actually works, but depending on the team, and I actually use a balanced style of play or mentality. So I believe with the positive or attacking, you might have a different or positive results. Against Man United away, we had 11 shots too, and actually first half was actually most of the banging actually came in the second half. First half was balanced, but second half my players just decided to go AWOL, so that was just it. So that's it. Please, that's it for Andoni Iraola style of play. Please like, subscribe, comment, and just basically because by liking and subscribing, you're pushing the boy on and the channel further and bringing more views and subs to me. So I really appreciate. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. See you in the next video. Peace.